begin, I'll give you a little introduction to us and what we do, and then to our lovely speaker. So the Assembly, we're based out of In5 Tech, and from 2014 to the past 8 years, we've held over 300 free workshops that we hold on weekdays, weekends. For now, we're doing it every week on Saturdays. It's always at 11 a.m., so you guys are welcome to come and join us anytime. We have very interesting topics. So we're a smart lab and a maker space, and we want to increase and develop the tech community in Dubai. Now, we have a lot of different workshops, but the three main categories are embedded systems, and that is IoT, usage of hardware devices like Raspberry Pi, Arduinos, which we provide for the audience. So we'll bring you the hardware, you'll code along with us. It's very exciting. Then we have code, where we work on APIs, frameworks, apps. And for these workshops, you only need to bring your laptop and go along together. It's very community-based. We also have data science workshops that focus on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and AI. But overall, our topics cover IoT, robotics, 3D printing, AR, VR, cloud computing, and so much more. Our audience members are entrepreneurs, they're professionals, they're students, anyone is welcome. Our focus is on smart technology and practical applications. And we want to make sure that you learn something new, build something new, or develop on your already existing knowledge. Now, you can follow us on social media at Make Smart Things. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you can also watch our streams. So we stream these workshops on YouTube and on our website, theassembly.edu. And before we continue, I would like to invite Nadia to give the intro to our speaker. Thank you.
Thanks, Saya. Hi.
All right. So Mazen Aroor, founder and CEO of SEO at WebQuest, is an entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience. He started his current digital agency, WebQuest, in 2014 as a one-man agency based in Dubai, and grew it to a staff of 7 full-time employees and 3 part-time admin staff with clients across the Middle East, Europe, and the US. Mazen started his professional career as a technical instructor in 2002 when he taught networking and programming courses at a technical institute. After which he established a regional office for the software family business in 2005 and headed the office for 8 years. In 2013, he joined a startup communications consultancy that focused on social enterprises in the Middle East, specializing in the search engine optimizer space a year later. I'm sorry.
That's fine. All right, thank you. Hi, guys. So yeah, my name is Mazen. I'm here to talk about SEO today. Quick question, has anybody worked on SEO, dabbled with SEO, or just completely brand new, wants to a little bit? Okay, cool. So our agenda for today, I'll be covering a lot of concepts, ideas, and I'll be giving you a lot of tools that you can work with. Free tools, most of them are free, some are paid. And if you have questions, please shoot them out. Yeah. So at any time, just let me know you have a question, and we can take it from there. All right, let us begin. So when we say SEO, what do you think that means? Yes. Yes. What is that?
I guess you are optimizing your searches on Google.
Okay. Are you working on the searches? Where do you work on? Keywords is a part of it. Yep. Yep. Good. Any others? Yeah? How many of you use Google? How often do you use Google? A lot, right? So when you want something, where's your go-to? When you want to know something, find something, locate something, buy something, you go to Google, right? And you type your search. You don't go to social media. You go to social media because you want to see your friends, you want to check out something, you want to switch off, right? So this is fundamentally different between search engines and social media. Search engines, you took the first step towards that product or service, right? We call that a pull strategy. Social media, your intent when you go there, you're not there to buy or subscribe or anything, but the ads are bombarded at you, so it's a push strategy, right? So that fundamentally, they're different. Cool. So with search engine, this is a definition from one of the biggest leaders on the market. They're called moz.com. So the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your website through search, right? We're mainly talking about your own website, what's on your website, and we want to get traffic to your website when people search. The other question, how many of you go to the second page of Google when you search? Almost none, yeah? One? Yeah. So statistically, around 5% of people go to the second page. So 95% get what they want from the first page, and less than 1% go to the third page or after. Right? So if you're a business and you're not on the first page, you're missing out on 95% of the searches. Right? Okay. So why Google and not anybody else? Because Google has over 90% market share worldwide, and in the region and Europe as well, it's over 95%. So Bing is around 2%, and everything else is much smaller search engines. There's Ecosia, DuckDuckGo, a bunch of others are popping up. China has its own. So China has its own Baidu search engine. Russia has its own, Yandex. Those are big in those markets. But for the rest of the world, it's by far the most dominant search engine out there. Okay, so question for you. Who do you think is Google's client? And for Google here, I mean the search engine. Who do you think is Google's client? Brands? Sorry, I can't hear you. We are the clients. We are the clients. That's a very good answer. Yes. The searcher is the client. It's not the brands. It's not the people who are paying the ads. It's you. It's the person searching. Why? What? You're the one increasing the traffic. What happens if you search for something on Google and you don't get what you want? You don't go back. Right? You start looking for another search engine. It never happens. It's very true. It's that powerful of a search engine. But the idea here, the point here, is that the searcher is the client, not the companies paying the ads, not all these brands. It's you, right? And what is Google trying to do as a search engine? What is it trying to do? Yeah, so they do log a lot, so there's all the other things, but yes. Sorry, say that again. Get the best match for your search. Get the best match for your search. So what Google is trying to achieve, the word we use a lot in the industry is to match your intent, right? To guess exactly what you want and to give you what you're looking for, to match that search. Because as I said, you're the client, and if you don't get what you want, you're going to somebody else. You're going to use a different search engine. So the whole point of search engine optimization or of search engines is to try as much as they can to understand your intent, what is it that you want, and to give you the best result based on that intent. Okay? So think about it. When you search, sometimes you're looking for information, sometimes you want to get to a place, sometimes you know the name of the company, you want to reach their website. Sometimes you want to buy something and you don't know from where you're going to buy. Right? So different websites come up. And sometimes you want a service, like a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer. Again, you don't know who it is that you want to get that from, but usually you stick to the top 5 of Google, right? You call a few. The first position of Google gets around a third of clicks. In mobile, it's a little bit less because you have to scroll down a little bit more. But yes, it pays a lot to be very visible on search engines. Questions? Okay, good. Okay, so before I jump into the technicalities, since all of you are entrepreneurs or starting your website, this is a result of us coming across many horror stories. This is what you need to have. You, as somebody who owns a website, this is what you should own. You don't give it to your developer or let them do it. You don't give it to your agency. You don't give it to the people who set up your business. You don't give it to the people who did your branding. You own these items, okay? So first and foremost is the domain, right? So you know what the domain is? Like google.com, that's a domain. So you register that and you own it with your account and your credit card. I can tell you we've had a few times where we had to work with companies where the owner does not even know who set it up and who owns it. The admin in their company, the agency they worked with, the people who set up the business, and if they, we've had even a couple stories of blackmail. Give me 10,000 dirhams, I'll give you this, but you paid for it. So the first thing you should own, your domain name. The second thing is that you make sure that you have full admin access to your hosting. So you have a domain name. In order to have a website, you have to put it on something called a hosting environment, right? So this is something like GoDaddy, HostGator, Bluehost. There's hundreds or thousands of them out there, okay? So you make sure you have admin access to that, because also we've come across cases where agencies set it up and they disappeared, dissolved. There's a fallout between the people who set up the hosting and the company owners. Guess what happens? Your whole website disappears and you can't access your files to move it somewhere else. So you have to make sure that you have access and admin to this. Okay? Admin access to your back end. So most people use WordPress, Squarespace, Magento, WooCommerce. So these are content management systems that are easy to set up websites with. Again, you can have a developer do it, completely fine, but make sure that you have the full admin access to that. Because again, they can lock you out. And it happens. Sadly, it happens more than you would think it should. Okay? So your admin access to the back end. As a startup, unless you absolutely have to build a custom solution, I'd advise you to go with a content management system. Right? So you don't need to build something from scratch, a custom based, because you're tied to the developer, the specific developer who built it. Right? If they move, they go, they find another job, there's a fallout between you, again, you're stuck. Right? With the content management systems on the market, WordPress, again, Squarespace, Wix, all of those, it's easy to find somebody who can come in and continue working for you. Okay? Okay, the next thing you should install and have the ownership access to is your Google Analytics. You could be using, there's a number of other free tools as well. So Google Analytics is one, but Analytics measures what's happening on your website. Like who's coming in, how they're spending time on the website, where they're coming from, what pages are they seeing, how much time per page, etc. Right? So again, you own this, because over time, this is valuable information. It helps you make decisions on your marketing, your digital marketing. And again, we've seen it where the owners of the company have no idea who set up their analytics. There's a way to retrieve it from Google, but it takes time. Okay? And then your Google Search Console. This is another free Google measurement account. The beauty about this one, the Search Console, is it tells you how Google sees your website as a search engine. So what searches are you coming up for? What's happening on your site? Is Google understanding the website? Is there problems? Do you have penalties? Is it hacked? Right? So communicating with you as a website owner from a search engine perspective, you need to have this in place. Again, it's free to set up. It takes 5 minutes. Okay? And then lastly, your Google My Business listing, which is your listing on a map, on Google Maps, right, where the people leave reviews and put photos for your business, etc. This is called a Google My Business account. Again, it's free to set up. It takes a little bit of time to verify, because you need to verify that you own it. There's some back and forth, because here they say they'll send you a postcard, but they never do. So you have to send them an email to their support, and then they call you and verify it. Okay? But this, again, as a business owner or as somebody setting up a website, just make sure you have all of these in place and that you own them. Your Google account or your account, you have the admin access, nobody else does. Questions?
Is it safe to share passwords of this?
Do you trust the person you're searching it with, right?
I have a developer working, obviously, I don't know how to do this thing, so I would always give my passwords to everything.
A lot of these, almost all of them, allow you to create another account. So you can create another admin account and give them access to that so that you maintain it. Because what if they change that password and don't give it to you? Right? So yes, under all of this, you can add another account. So one for them to do whatever they want, but at least you always have that access on your end. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right, let's hop back. Okay. So, when you want to do search engine optimization, where do you start from, right? What is it? What are the steps, and what is it that we need to cover, and where do you start from? So the first thing is to define your objective. What is it that you want to do? Are you looking for leads? Are you looking to sell? Are you in e-commerce? Do you want traffic? And I'll dive into these in a second. Yeah, but the first point is to understand what is it that I want to achieve. The second question becomes, where is my audience? Are they based in Dubai, only in Dubai, or are they UAE based, or are they region based? Do I want to reach them in English? Do I want to reach them in Arabic? Do I want to reach them in another language? Do I want all the languages? Right? Because all these questions will drive what you need to have in place. Okay? So first and foremost, define what you want to achieve, your objective. Okay? Then you start doing the technical stuff. So you do the keyword research, and again, each one of these I'll dive into so that give you the tools and you can start looking into it. So you do your keyword research, you do your competitor analysis if you have competitors, right? So what are they doing, what's on their websites, what's working for them. You can get a very good idea of what's happening over there. And then you take care of the technical side of your website, and you build your online presence. At this point, it's important for me to highlight that SEO is something that takes time. It's not you do it today and you're first tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Paid ads does. So if you do Google Ads, within a few hours of you setting your ad, you can be on the first page, no problem. But if you're doing search engine optimization, the best analogy I can give is like going to the gym. So if you start going to the gym today, it takes weeks and months for you to start seeing results, right? It doesn't show up in a few weeks. And as long as you're consistent and stay fit, then your results are good. What happens the moment you stop? You're still fit, but with time, you slowly start going back, and this is exactly what happens with the SEO practice, right? So once you start doing SEO, it takes time, it takes consistency, it can take months, it depends on the competitiveness of your space. We worked with clients where it took 2 years for them to reach the top of the first page. Others, it took 2 months. It depends on the space and how competitive that is. Okay? So yeah, the gym analogy. At the moment you stop, you'll still be there. But then if you don't maintain it, you'll slowly start going down again because your competition starts to catch up. Okay? Questions? All right, so let's talk a bit about objectives when it comes to SEO. So one of the most common ones is lead generation. So with lead generation, again, think of what you're doing when you want to look for pest control, when you want to look for a painter, a mover, right? A lawyer, a dentist, a doctor. You don't know who you want, but you type dentist Dubai, lawyer Dubai, right? Pest control in Dubai, pest control services, whatever, right? So what happens in this case is that a business is looking for the lead, It's looking for the inquiry to come in. So the objective is lead generation. You come to the website, you see the phone number, you either call it from your mobile or you call on the phone, or sometimes you submit a form, right? You submit an inquiry form. So this, for lead generation, it's mostly subject to local businesses within a city, right? Rarely do you look for businesses that are looking to generate leads from multiple cities, unless they have offices in multiple cities. But the majority of service-based businesses are within a city, and sometimes even within a certain part of a city, right? Is this clear? So the inquiry, as a business, you want that lead, you want that question, that inquiry to come in. What's another business objective? Anybody here buy online? Do you shop online? Right? So another business objective is for e-commerce websites. The whole transaction happens online. And a lot of these e-commerce websites don't have a physical space, right? They can have offices, but there's no shop that you walk into, right? So here, you're looking to have the whole transaction happen online. And for these kinds of businesses, usually you target a country or even a region, multiple countries, right? So think again, Amazon. Now you can sit here and buy Amazon that's shipped from God knows where all over the world coming into town. Noon, for example, covers the whole UAE, and now they're opening Saudi and Qatar and Kuwait and Oman, etc. Right? So the objective here is to sell. The whole transaction happens online, right? So with an SEO, or from an SEO perspective, it's different what you do in a lead generation business versus an e-commerce business. It can also be something we call software as a service, or a SaaS, where you subscribe to some sort of service, right? Like Netflix, for example, is a subscription-based model. Okay, so there are a lot of business, especially if you're doing, I don't know, Slack, you use project management tools like Asana or Trello. So all these are subscription-based, right? So they're looking to attract traffic for subscription purposes. The whole transaction also happens online. Okay, who can think of other types of SEO activities or business objectives? Do you read online news or magazines? Right? So with online magazines, what is it that they want? Traffic. Why? Advertising, exactly. They have ads on their website, right? So they make money. The more traffic that comes to their pages, the more money they make because they're selling ads, right? So this is another business objective. They want as much traffic as possible because that's their revenue generation. Okay, so these are usually bigger portals, but think fashion magazines, think sports magazines, think news, right? So all these kinds of websites, this is what they're looking for. There's a fourth kind, not so common, but very difficult. It's called reputation management. So with this, sometimes you Google a company name, even a person name, and there's a news item sitting on first page that's not favorable to them. What do you do in this case? You can't delete it from the internet, it's there. You outrank it. Because as we said, how many people go to the second page? 5%. How many people go to the third page or beyond? Less than 1%. So with this type of SEO, that news item or that article is there. But the more you get things on top of it, it just goes lower and lower and then out of visibility for the time being, right? So this is probably the most complex because you don't work with one site. You have to keep on ranking different pages and different websites for something like this. Questions? Comments or concerns? All right. Okay. let's start with the first item. So keyword research, right? You're setting up a business, you know your objective, you want to sell or you have a service or whatever that may be. We said that it's very important for you to understand your target audience, right? Who they are, what they're doing, what languages they speak, where you are physically, what you want to optimize for, etc. So for keyword research, it's also important to understand, even when you search, now take a step back and think when you're searching, there are different kinds of searches that you perform, right? The most common type, now I'm giving you here a high level because you could dive deeper into these, but the first type of search, the one that's most common, is you're looking for information, right? What is something? Where does a movie play? Right? You just want information. You don't want to buy, you don't want to get the service, but you want information. Right? So when I came here, I just typed N5 because I wanted to know about the place. Right? So give me an example of some information. Something you did today or yesterday. Sorry? Don't want to know? Anybody here into whatever's playing on Amazon Prime or Netflix or like there are a lot of movie shows. Like for me, I want to know when the next Game of Thrones episode is released, right? That's information based. I'm looking for information, right? Sometimes you hear a medical term, you want to know what that is, or a medicine, or a disease. If you have kids, you want to know at which stages they grow through, right? There's a lot of information-based searches. Now the point with this is that there's a lot of questions being asked, but the person performing that search rarely wants to buy, okay? Because again, they just want that piece of information. Another type of search. So we covered information-based. What's another kind of search that you perform? Location.
Or like a business you want to reach out to.
Yep. So we call those navigational searches. You know the name, but you don't know the website. You don't know where they are, right? So this is called navigational searches. So think of brand searches, like again, like N5. You type in N5, that's a navigational search because I want to reach here. Or you want to reach Mall of the Emirates. You type Mall of the Emirates and you want the Google map to go there, or you want to learn what times they're open, or etc. Right? So this is a good set of searches, and the conversion potential from these kinds of searches is relatively decent because they're seeking you. Right? If you're a business or a dentist, again, they want to reach you. But the point here is they have to have that brand name. They have to know or heard about you somehow. Okay? So there are a smaller number of searches than information-based, but the conversion potential for them is decent. What's the third type? When you want to buy something. What was the last thing you bought online? Hey, sorry? Blue hosts? Blue hosts, okay. Okay, so, hosting. Yep. What about a product? Shoes, t-shirts, I don't know, if you do yeah, right? iPhone, clicker, right? So for the next kind, we call these transactional. With a transactional search, you know you want a product or a service. So you can say lawyer in Dubai, dentist in Dubai. Your intent is very clear. You want that service. Pest control services in Dubai. iPhone in Dubai. Or iPhone 13. Right? So these are the ones that you want to show up for more because they're not tied to a brand. They're not information based. That searcher knows what they're looking for, right? In our case, SEO agency, right? Web developer Dubai. So for these kinds of searches, The number of searches is low. When you compare the total volume of transactional searches versus navigational information, the volume is low. But the potential of you getting business out of this is extremely high. Again, because back to intent. Any questions? Yeah? All right. So what tools can you use for doing keyword research? I'll just put these out here because there's a bunch of them. So these are tools that you can use. The first one is Ahrefs.com keyword generator. It's a free tool. I think you're limited to a number of searches per day, but you can use it, right? So you can say something like dentist Dubai, and this will just crunch out tens, maybe hundreds of different variations around that initial keyword, right? Because different people search differently. Sometimes there's misspelling, sometimes they put in, sometimes they put at, sometimes they switch the words. So you want to know all these different combinations, and it'll give you the search volume based on location. So you can see in Dubai how many monthly searches are happening. Okay, and it's free, as I said. Not Ahrefs.com, the rest of it. Yeah, this one is paid, but the rest of it is free. There's another section or another site called Also Asked. You know, when you do a search, sometimes you have a box that says people asked, and there are questions there, right? So this tool helps you see the questions of that search. And sometimes when you click questions, a bunch more come up, and you click again and a bunch more come up. So all these can be extracted from this. And again, it's free for a limited daily number of searches. You can come back the next day or the day after. And then you can, there's a paid version if you have many queries to run. Okay? This is a very good one as well. It's called Answer the Public. So with Answer the Public, you could put in a topic and it will give you questions that are people asking on this topic. Right? So as I go down in this, we'll talk about strategies. A very important strategy for you to have on your site is blogging. So writing articles. But the question becomes, what do I write about? This will tell you what to write about. Okay? So you'll see actually what actually is being asked, and you can answer those questions, or they provide some good blog topics. Maybe if we have time at the end, I can run a few searches as well for this. I think I maxed out my my free daily use, but we'll see. Okay? And then the last one, this is manual, but you can use Google Autocomplete as well. So when you start typing a search, you'll see that Google will start filling up suggestions. So those are also good for you to understand what's happening, or what people understand. There's also another one, I didn't put this, Google Trends. Has anybody used Google Trends? Yeah? So if you go to Google Trends and put a topic, you'll see if it's seasonal, so we're coming up for the end of the year, so Christmas gifts, for example, you see that peaks up around December, and in January comes, the demand for that goes all the way down. Same thing for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, etc. So all these are seasonality, but you'll see the trend annually on how it's going. Right? So with Google Trends, it's a good idea to see interest in a topic. Is it growing? Is it shrinking? And then within a topic, what other related topics are happening or people asking about? Yeah? Questions?
There are so many tools available on iPhone, Android, apps available which provides you the SEO keyword if you put the specific topic.
Mm-hmm.
How do you compare those one with these tools?
What do you mean iPhone?
I searched on the App Store.
So
For the e-commerce store, I have a couple of e-commerce stores, and I was searching for blockchain-based e-commerce stores here in UAE.
yep.
So, when you find a lot of apps available.
Yeah. So I want to differentiate between apps
Yes, and these
and Google based, right?
Google based and these 3, 4 sites, are there any specific good things which I can get from these, or?
Just to differentiate first between App Store, because App Store has its own thing called App Store optimization, and then Google, which is the rest of the web, is your search engine optimization, and they're separate, they're different. So you have tools that can give you searches based on apps related. It's a much more smaller subset than search. So there are specific tools specifically for App Store keywords. For these guys, this is one of the biggest, and these are for getting questions about blog topics. So they're pretty good.
Yeah, about the topics, that was more my question. Because if I want to compare a keyword with the other keywords which are best, I mean, that is one of the things. But if I want to see the trends, let's say what is trending in market, if I'm talking about Amazon, what I am trying to sell on, what I should try to sell on Amazon. So based on that trends, what are the best keywords which I should use? I mean, based on
Again, you're going to Amazon and Amazon search, right?
I'm saying that if I want to search the keywords based on the topic,
Yes.
on a specific topic, not comparative keywords.
So this right here would do it for you. So this one, you punch in a keyword and it'll give you the derivations, right? So it'll give you all the different combinations around that keyword and the trends around them and the volumes, right? Some of them can have hundreds of searches a month and some can have 10 searches a month. So this one will do it, but it's a free tool. So you're limited on a daily basis how much you can use it. There's a paid version, so if you subscribe to the actual site, then you can run much more. But yeah, this is a good one. If you're running Google Ads, you can use the keyword planner inside Google Ads, but you need to have an active campaign for you to do that. This is completely free. Okay? Yep. Yep. Any other questions on keyword research? Yeah, so that's the first step, right? You do your keyword research, etc. The next step is for you to look at your competitors. What are they doing? Right? Always good to know what are they doing. So with competitor analysis, what is it that you want to understand? What information do you want to retrieve? First thing, you want to see what keywords that they are trying to rank for. And how do you do this? You go to their website. Anything that's marked in big font is probably the keyword that they want to go after. Right? Not the text, the paragraphs, but any heading, right? The big keywords, usually they're sitting on top of the page or they're in the middle somehow. So those are the keywords that your competitor wants to rank for. Right? Go look at the blog section and see what topics they're writing about. Okay? So visually, you can do this. There are a number of tools. I'll share a couple of tools as well. But yeah, technically you can do a lot more with the paid tools. But from a free perspective, you can just visit the site and see what's going there. You also want to try and understand what are they writing about. Right? Because I said a very important part of the SEO strategy is constantly creating blogs. So you want to understand what are they writing and how frequently are they writing. Are they writing every day, every week, once a month, once every 2 or 3 months? So you could get an idea about their strategy and capacity and what is it they want to achieve. Okay? Whoops. We'll get there in a minute. And then the last part is you want to know what other websites have a link that points to the site. We call these backlinks. Important part of SEO, maybe the most spammed, least understood part of SEO. But the backlinks is when you have a link on another site that points back to yours. Right? Those are an important part of SEO as well. So in the competitor analysis side, you want to try and understand this. And for this, you'll need to use some tools. Okay? Let's look at the tools. Any questions first on competitor analysis? Clear? Okay. So, what tools can you use for competitor analysis. The first one is a completely free tool. So moz.com, competitive research. Punch in a website and it'll give you some information about it, right? So it's a useful tool. It can give you a metric, how big the site is there some spam on it, etc. Another free tool, SpyFu. So this is on the homepage itself. This is good. This will give you more details. It'll give you topics, what keywords on that site. I think they share top 10, top 20, and you need to pay to get more. But top 10, top 20 is usually a very good idea for a business website. Okay? So you can use SpyFu. You have these two. So we mentioned Ahrefs before, but these two are probably the biggest in the market, Ahrefs and SEM Rush. They both have some sort of 1 week free trial that you can play around with, but after that you have to subscribe to them. But yeah, so these are also tools that can be used for competitors. They give a lot more in-depth information, especially on the backlink profiles and how often they post, and historically how they did in the last 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. So there's a lot of information here that's visible. Okay, and as I said, the last one is to manually visit a website. You can get a lot of information just by looking at the site and knowing what to look for. So as I said, for the keywords, look at fonts, the words in big fonts, look at their blog post, what topics they're writing about, how often they publish, etc. Questions? Okay, so we did our keyword research, we did our competitor analysis. Technical side, this by definition, this is very technical. So if you don't have a technical inclination, talk to somebody who can help you here, right? And this side, maybe at the beginning, is very time consuming, okay? But what is it that you want to have on a high level? What is it that you want to have in place for the technical considerations? One, you have to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. So a few years ago, the visits on websites for mobile, coming in from mobile, exceeded visits coming in from desktop, right? Desktop is not going, but for the majority of industries, most visits come through mobile. Okay? So here's another tip for you. If you're designing a new website, design it as a mobile first and then adapt it to desktop. The standard has always been, let's do it on desktop and then fix everything to mobile. For the majority of businesses, 60, 70, 80% of your traffic will come from mobile. So design it as a mobile and then adapt it to your desktop, right? There are still some industries where desktop has the majority, some things, office-related industries, accountants, finance, stock markets. So we've seen that for these kinds of websites, traffic coming from desktop is still higher than mobile, okay? But almost everything else is mobile, right? So first and foremost, you have to make sure that your mobile is friendly. And by the way, around 2 years ago, Google switched to evaluating your site from a mobile perspective first. It no longer evaluates your site from a desktop perspective. The first thing Google does when it reaches your website, it looks at it from a mobile perspective. They call mobile first indexing, mobile first crawling, right? So again, in terms of design, in terms of content, in terms of everything, just do mobile first. Puts you ahead, a little bit of an edge over the competition. Okay? Second thing, how much time do you guys wait for a website to load? 2 seconds? You can wait? If it's something you want? Yeah, but if it's, on average, if it's 4 or 5 seconds, most people leave. If nothing happens in 4 or 5 seconds, most people leave. So your website speed is very important, right? Or at least get something up in the first second or two, and the rest can come loading later, that's fine. But something has to come up within a second or two. So the speed of your site matters. And under speed, there's many things, but one important element is images, right? So when you have images, just make sure they're compressed enough. If you do something with your mobile and try and upload it, that's several megabytes in size. And imagine downloading and you have 5 or 10 images on your homepage, that's 5 or 10, that's 10 to 20 megabytes. And if you're sitting on a network, that has to load. Those have to come in, right? So make sure that your images are small in size. There are formats that allow you to have high quality images but low in size. That's possible. So for your developer, just let them know, because developers tend to be, they want to get things done, so they don't care about getting things 100%. But you as an owner, just make sure that that happens, because this is a big factor. Okay? And then in terms of SEO, we have a whole bucket of stuff that we call on-page SEO, and there's a lot down there. Okay? But you need to take care of this part as well from an SEO perspective. Right? So anybody here has a website that runs on WordPress? Yeah, WordPress. So with WordPress, you have the advantage of using free plugins. Something like Yoast or Rank Math. Those are very, very good as a free option to help you with this part. Right? Because there's many small things that fall under this. Okay? If it's custom-based website, you have to tell your developers what to do. Because most developers don't look at the SEO elements until way after they're done. All right? Other platforms, Squarespace, Wix, they have smaller segments. Again, something like a plugin that can do some of this stuff, but depending on what platform you're using, some can be achieved and some not. Questions? Comments or concerns? Yeah? Okay. So some tools for you to keep in mind for the technical side. Again, this is a technicality of things. So for you to test if a page is mobile friendly, you can actually use this page. If you want, you can Google mobile friendly test, and this will come up, right? So you just put in a page. If you put a website, it'll evaluate only the home page. So try and test multiple pages, right? Your contact page, your home page, maybe a service page. So this will tell you if that page is mobile friendly or not. Again, these are free tools. And this one you can use as many times as you want. No problem. Okay? Another couple of tests for speed. This one is by Google, so it gives you a score on mobile, it gives you a score on desktop, and it tells you what to fix. So you can copy paste that and send it to your developer, and they should be able to understand it. Right? So again, this is really good. This one as well is a different tool. It's a third party or independent company, but it's good. It's also good to tell you how fast your website, and give some details on what to fix as well. Okay?
So the speed of a website should be under 5 seconds.
Ideally, yeah. Even 4, I think, for the whole thing to load, yeah, 4 to 5 is good. At 5 to 6, you start losing a lot of people. Yeah. Beyond 6, I forgot the stat. It's more than half of people bounce or leave if it takes longer than 6 seconds. But keep in mind, the faster, the better. And you definitely need something to show within 2 seconds. Like at least something. The rest can start loading, but the main image or the main text, something has to come up within 2 seconds, so the user stays a little bit longer. If it stays white and it's still loading 4 or 5 seconds, most people will leave. Yeah. Okay? So yeah, these tools, so Screaming Frog is free for small websites. There's another one called Sitebulb. This is paid, and I mentioned these two because these are like a whole encompassing tools. They cover all aspects, but these are paid as well. But this is a technical side of things. If you're technically inclined, you might enjoy doing these. If not, then again, bring somebody or talk to somebody who can or does understand the technicalities. Yeah? Questions? Yeah, so it's called Lighthouse. So if you go into DevTools, yes, you can run Lighthouse. Yes, you can do that too, yes. Yeah, you'll need to turn it on though. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so in Google Analytics, you can see this. Yeah, so inside Google Analytics, you have a report called Devices, and there you can see how many visitors came from mobile and how many came from desktop. Yeah, you'll see it. You have analytics in place, right? Yeah, so you can see it under, I think, the demographics section. So the first part in the analytics, where it tells you the countries and the devices, you can see that. Yeah, you'll see it there. What's the industry? Probably desktop is high. Yeah, so anything office related, probably desktop is higher. Yeah, because your suppliers, your clients, so desktop is probably high. Yeah, but that'll tell you. Other questions? Yeah.
Will we be able to get slides, or do I have to?
Yeah, if you can, so give us your email. I'm happy to send this. I think this is also available on YouTube. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So yeah, leave your email. If anybody wants the slides, just give us your email. Happy to push them. And I know this is on YouTube as well. Yeah. Okay. Other questions? All right. The last part of your SEO is what we call off-page SEO, or trying to build your online presence. An underrated part of this strategy, but also extremely important for your site, is to have an active blog section, right? So this is a section, you can call it news, you can call it research, you can call it updates, whatever it is. The point here is that you upload content on a regular basis. And regular is different for different people. It can be weekly, it can be daily, it can be monthly, it can be once every couple of months, it doesn't matter. The point here is that you have something fresh happening on your site every now and then. Okay? And it helps. Remember the tool I mentioned, Answer the Public? So with that, you can use Answer the Public to get ideas about what to write about, what questions to answer for your blog posts through this. Okay? And the last part is link building. As I said, this is probably the least understood / most spammed part of SEO. But the idea of link building is that you have your site mentioned on another website that links back to you. For this, I would say you can start by your social media profiles. So if, again, you have a social media profile for your company, just make sure in the About section of your social media, the link goes to your site, right? So at the end, Google is trying to see if you're a real business or a fake one. And the more signals you can send to show that you're real, the better. So social media on the About pages of all your social media profiles, just having that is a good signal. If you have clients or partner websites, having like a partner section on their site where you link to each other is also decent, right? But the idea here is that you have a link from another site coming to yours. A lot of this also involves PR, so interviews, but yeah, depending on where you are in your business, so interviews, etc. Just a heads up, you might be getting a lot of people who sell backlinks on LinkedIn. The vast majority of those is spam and would be a complete waste of money, right? Just an FYI. So they'll send you, we're sending links, $50 for this, $100 for that. Yeah, almost all of those are spam and just completely useless. All right, questions? Shall we do things practically? I got a last couple of slides. So again, you're doing all of this it's extremely important for you to measure and see if it's working or not, right? So one of these tools, what you have here, and we mention them as you go, it's very important for you to have something like Google Analytics in place because you need to understand what's happening on your website. Anybody here using analytics on their sites, Google Analytics? Yeah? So one thing to note about analytics is what you have in place now is being upgraded next year. So they're releasing something called Google Analytics 4. And by July of 2023, they're killing what you're using now. It's dying. So you want to set up Google Analytics 4 now and run them in parallel so you have historical data to start building up on the new platform. Is that clear? Yeah? So Google Analytics, just make sure you implement Google Analytics 4 because the current one, 3, or it's called Universal, it's dying or it's being shut down July 2023. So if you have analytics, probably you're using Universal. So just keep that in mind. Okay? The other one, and this is underrated and not looked as much, is your Google Search Console. So as I said, this is completely free. And it's very valuable because it tells you how Google sees your site from a search engine perspective. Okay? As a search engine, what is it seeing on your site? Is it understanding it properly? Are there problems? Is there malware or spam, or is it hacked? Is there a penalty? Because these exist. A Google penalty exists, right? If you're trying to spam and cheat, they will give you a penalty. How do you know that they gave you a penalty? On the Search Console. They'll actually send a message. It says a manual penalty has been applied. If you get a developer and give them, say, do content, and they copy-paste content from somebody else, that's called duplicate content. You steal content from another website, Google will know. Actually, it will know almost instantly. So it might just give you a penalty as well, right? A manual action or a penalty will serve you a notice. Okay? So any mechanism for Google as a search engine to communicate with you as an owner of a site happens here. If you don't have this set up, you'll never know. So it takes 5 minutes to set up, and it's free. Very, very important. Okay? Next one is Google My Business. So if you have you registered, you have a physical location, this is how you manage your Google Maps listing, the reviews, question and answer. You know, sometimes when you Google a business, on the right side, you get a panel with the stars and the questions and the reviews. You manage that from this. Okay? It's called the Google My Business. I'll show you some examples now. Okay? Another one that's also free and useful, this is by Microsoft. It's called Microsoft Clarity. This one actually anonymously records sessions on your site. So let's say a user comes in and they start scrolling. You'll see certain users, how they scroll, what menu clicks they do, what pages they jump, like a small video. It also does heat maps. So it'll give you the home page and show you, for example, in the menu, which parts of the menus are clicked more than others. The ones that are clicked the most are going to be in red. The ones that are clicked least are going to be in yellow or green. And again, it's free, so you can set it up. So Google Clarity, it helps you understand once somebody comes to your site, aggregates them in the sessions and how things are happening. Maybe there's some bug that you don't see, or maybe people are not following what you thought they're following. So this is also useful as well. Okay? Oops. All right. Any questions? Not, I can open my, let's see, we need to go to, oops. Oh, I don't have internet. Hold on, let me tether off this. Okay. So let me also, here. This is us. Oh, this is not visible. No. Okay. So here's, let me just break this down for you in terms of search. Now, I'll run a few searches so you'll also understand how complex Google is. So this is us. So WebQuest Dubai, you see that this right here is called site links. So you see how we actually occupy 2/3 of the first page or the top fold, because Google understands what this is and then all these subsections within a site. Also, for a lot of times when you type a business name or city, you get this section here, right? So this you completely control from Google My Business. If you don't take ownership of it, it'll still exist, but you have no control of what people are doing on it, right? So especially the reviews part, there's a question part, sometimes the number is wrong or the location is wrong. So for you to have complete control over this, you need your access to the Google Search Console, okay? Now, look at how the search changes if I were to say dentist. Let me do this from incognito. All right, so I did dentist Dubai. What do you notice here? Sorry? AI is artificial intelligence. Oh, sorry. So this was supposed to be AI as in, but my caps lock went on, so this is this. But what do you see here? Ad. Advertising. This is paid advertising. Again, how many of you click on ads when you search? Majority don't. Again, so it's different on mobile and desktop, by the way. So on desktop, ad clicks is 10 to 15% of total searches. On mobile, it's up to 20 to 22%, right? Because you need to scroll down further, and people are lazy. But a lot of people are aware that this is paid, and they tend to skip it. Okay? Now, if I go down further, notice that this comes up. So we call this local search. This comes up when you put in a city name. All right? So when you say lawyer Dubai, insurance Dubai, whatever, with a city name, you get this, and we call it the local pack or the local SEO. Again, your Google My Business allows you to come here. If you didn't take control of your Google My Business and set up your map, your physical location, etc., you won't get visibility on this section. Okay? So this is the Google My Business part, and then below that, below that, so this is what we call the organic part. This is where the SEO is fully sitting, right? So this is the organic part. Now notice also the question section. The tool I mentioned, also ask.com, helps you retrieve these. Helps you pull out all these different questions. Okay? Now look, if I click on a question, it'll expand and give me more. Right? So the more I click, the more questions start piling up. Right? So this is the also ask sections for Google. Okay? Now, let's try, give me a movie or a series that you guys, somebody has watched over the last couple of days. Manifest? Series. So, yeah. Look at the result page. I want you to approach this from how Google is taking things. This is a completely different set of results, right? It has, over here, it knew I was talking about the series. It says it started 2018, it's drama, 4 seasons. There's everything I need. The cast is here, there's a Wikipedia entry, we call this a knowledge graph, right? So this is going back to the intent, right? Google knows I want information about this, and it formatted the whole search result page to match my intent. So I showed you a brand search. So when we looked for WebQuest, it immediately gave us all the services. It gave me the profile of the company. When we did Dentist Dubai, it automatically knew it was a local search. It gave me the map, paid advertising, businesses. I'm looking at a series. It gave me everything about the series. Visually, this is very different, right? Look at what happens if I put something like e-commerce. So if I say flowers Dubai. Let me try something else. This is similar to the ads. I want to trigger So again, the fact I put in Dubai, I have ads, I have a local map, but in addition to this, I have this section right here, right? So for e-commerce websites, this is called the the Google Merchant Store. So you can get those listings here. So this is also mostly paid advertising, but it's different than the ads on top because you can get in. So this is a paid ad, but these two, see here? Yeah, so these two are also paid ads. So the whole structure of the search result page is different based on your search. Questions? What would you like me to test out? I can tell. So we do a speed test, a mobile test. Yes, no, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm going to take, for example, this one, flowers.ae. Let's do page speed. Let's do Google mobile friendly test. All right. So I just need to take the website. For the speed, I just put that in and say analyze. For a mobile friendly, I put that in and say test. Right? So this is something that the test will show you. So you have mobile and desktop. You'll get a number of scores. If I go to desktop, my performance is not, for this website, the performance is 96 on desktop. For a mobile, oh, that wasn't. It decided to freeze. Let's see here. All right, this thing's Oh, this one's working. Yep. So for mobile, it's a 58 speed test. So this is something you'll get.
Is it bad?
58 is decent. So mobile is a little bit trickier, but no, 58 is okay. 70 and above is fine. Yeah. But the point here also is that if you go at the bottom, it will tell you what needs fixing. So this is the section that you can give your developers and say, try and fix this. Okay? Speed test is hanging on my computer, but that's fine. For a mobile-friendly page, yeah, you'll see here that it simply tells you this page is mobile-friendly, all is good. If it's not, it'll be in red and it'll tell you what you need to fix. Questions?
So I'm checking for my website, this page speed insights, and it says for Web Vitals failed. What does it mean?
This is similar to here. So let me break this down for you. So here, right? So if you see it says something like this, right?
Yeah.
So in a speed test, this is relatively new. Not only are they testing how fast the site is coming, Google added 3 main elements of testing. They call them, that group is called Core Web Vitals, right? It's this one, and this one. For you to get a passing score, you need to pass all 3, and it'll say passed. So see here, this is in green, it passed, this is in green, it passed, this is in orange, it didn't, so it said failed for all 3. But I think for this site specifically, on desktop, yeah, also failed. Yeah, so it's basically, they're testing these 3 metrics. So these are relatively new, and it's called Core Web Vitals. I would recommend you look at this one first. If you scroll down, you'll see the overall score. Fix this, and then worry about the Core Web Vitals. Yeah, I don't know, this website, this page keeps on crashing on my end. Another question. Yep. Sorry. It's not related. Sure, anything. Yeah. Setting up legal. Yeah. It's not enforced here, so you can put it. If you're catering to Europe, then you absolutely have to have not only a privacy policy, but also a cookies policy and data retention policy. So Google Analytics is compliant with GDPR. So you don't need to worry about that. And if you're using a WordPress, there's a plugin that gives you that privacy policy, that warning customizing your cookies. Yeah, if you Google GDPR compliant WordPress plugin, you'll get it. If you're e-commerce, you need to have a properly written privacy policy, refund policy in place, because your clients will require it, your payment gateway will require it, and they're trust signals for Google. So those you need like some legal help to set up. Yes, yeah. And if you're servicing the region, there is no legality or obligation for you to put that yet. Yeah. More are falling in that space, but there's no consequences not to, not at this point. Yeah. Yes?
What should be done in order to have better speed? Like, let's say the quality of the pictures.
Yeah.
Let's say the pictures are very big, or you have videos, that means that it can slow down your website, or?
Yes, so there's many things that impact speed, many. So if it's WordPress, the theme you're using, the hosting that you have. So with hosting, try and look for hosting services that are based here, not having your server sitting halfway across the world, right? So I know AWS has a data center in the UAE and a data center in Bahrain. So those usually are much faster than a data center that's in another country. So yeah, you're hosting and not a shared hosting, though this is the cheapest, but with a shared hosting, because you're sitting on on a machine, a virtual machine, with maybe hundreds or thousands of other websites. So the performance of that machine will impact the speed, right? If the machine is busy, it'll take longer to respond for your site. So if you look at a dedicated hosting plan, that would be better.
So these insights are also showing how the website looks when looking for it in the UAE. But if I would check the same domain, let's say in Europe, it would give me other speeds.
Yes, yes, yeah. So for page speed insights, it's Google is unanimous because it'll approach this from its own servers. But something like GTmetrix and other sites can allow you to simulate asking for that site from different locations. I think it's called pingdom.com. So yeah, then you'll see it loads at this speed from this country, X speed from this country, and then you can take it from there. Pingdom. So let me just double check. Pingdom speed test. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so you have your test from, so you can simulate the test coming in from multiple areas as well. Yep. The test. For the speed side, so you can easily do the images. They're a big chunk. So you have here again. So you have a lot of online image. Right? So you have a lot of online image compression tools, again for free. The vast majority is developer work, yes, yes. The quality of? So measuring your SEO campaign. Okay, good question. You look at multiple things, right? So you can track your keywords, and these are mainly paid tools, right? So you can, again, with Ahrefs and Sem Rush, Nightwatch, there's a lot of them. So one metric is your target keywords. How are you progressing in tracking them? That's one. The second is how many more searches are you appearing for, right? So this you see inside Google Search Console. So the moment you start optimizing, you'll start showing up for different searches. So the jump in impressions is also good. That should be followed by a jump in clicks. So your organic traffic has to increase. And you see that from your Google Analytics. Now, if you're ranking for the right keyword and you're getting the right traffic, you should automatically hit your business objectives. So number of leads coming in should start going up. Or if you're e-commerce, your sales should going up. That's how you measure, right? Because you could have a lot of impressions and clicks that are junk, and there's no business. That doesn't work, right? So it follows this sequence. Yep. Other questions?
How many keywords do you think a website should focus on?
It's up to you. No.
Or it's better to have a few, but the most.
So okay.
I mean, I think you can pick, like have a selection
Yeah.
of keywords and then see which one is working the best for
Yeah.
your website. But
Here, let me. Okay, if you're standing, so. So this is the keyword generator I told you is for C, and you can pull this. I think you were asking about Amazon as well. So you can pull data from the Amazon database, YouTube, Bing, or Google. Google is your search, but let me do, just so you can see, wait, before this, I'll change this to UAE. Oh, come on. What do you want? Stairs. Okay. So when you do your keyword research, you'll see some kind of metric that would tell you how difficult this keyword is. Right? So again, dentist Dubai has a difficulty score of 42. This is from 0 to 100. So this is competitive, right? Competitive. It's not easy to rank for it quickly. And if you're a new business, these keywords will take time. So my best advice is to look for very specific, we call them long tail. So like pediatric dentist, for example, or pediatric dentist for a 5-year-old, right? Pediatric dentist for a 3-year-old. That would be a lot easier for you at the beginning to rank for than to aim for something like this. So I can't give you a direct answer. If you're a new business or you haven't done this, or it's you set up your business in the last 6 months or a year, start with those keywords. The ones that are longer, they're easier to rank for, they're not as competitive. Their volumes are less, but they're very relevant to your business. Now, as you rank for more and more of these long tail, you can start getting to the more competitive ones and the more competitive ones, right? But if you set it up and you need to go for something like this, you won't compete, you won't get too far. You're up against somebody who's been doing this for years, right? So the first step is very important for you to see what your competition is, how competitive are your keywords, and to make decisions based on that, right? How many? It comes down to your business, right? You can go for 50, 10, 100 at the beginning. I don't know. It depends on your business, but also depends on your capacity on adding content, etc. So start with 5, 10, 15, get them well, and again, these are the long tail because they're easier. Get them ranking, jump to the next group. Get them ranking, jump to the next group. Okay? Yes? This is hrefs.com keyword generator. Here. Where is my font? Okay? Yeah? Other questions? Yeah?
Once we have the keywords that we want to use, what is Google really looking at? Is it the number of times the keywords used on the website, or is it the number of different types?
Question. It's not the number of times, no. It's whether you address that topic. And my best advice for you is to write your content the way you'll write it for one of your customers. It used to work where you would just paste that keyword multiple times. That's 5-10 years ago. But now that would actually get you in trouble. For each main topic, you need a specific page, right? Give me an example. What's your business?
We're into like legal services.
Legal services. Okay. So for every legal service, you need a page. If it's family law, maritime law, commercial law, page. So every type, in your case here, every type of service there needs its own page because they're completely different topics, right? You can't address the technicalities of each in a single page.
Is it necessary that we need to have them linked on the website for the menu? Because sometimes it can be just too much for somebody.
It is because you have the concept of something called an orphan page. So if Google comes across a page and it can't see where it's linked in from within your website, it's kind of a bad signal. Yeah, it's like a page floating, there's no way to get there, so that's an orphan page. You can link from a menu, you can link from other pages, within the text of other pages or the bottom of other pages. If you want to cut on your menu, you can link in from your footer, you can link in from blog posts, like there's many ways to do it. But yeah, be careful in such a strategy. Rule of thumb, you should be able to reach any page from any page within 3 clicks. Okay? If you maintain that, you'll be good. Yeah. Questions? Yeah.
So in case of customer has a store on Amazon or Boom.com, what's the best way for them to start advertising their product?
Say again, sorry.
So Amazon and Boom.com, they have these are multi-stores.
Yes,
So they allow you to create your own stores on
correct.
Boom.com and Boom.com.
Correct.
So what's the best for those customers to suggest from where they can start?
But that's completely different. So you're setting a sub-store under Amazon and a sub-store under Noon.
Then the products have URL. So every product has a unique URL. So
Yes.
you can.
But you don't control, you have no access to that.
No, there is an option to create metaverse, meta and tags and everything. And then
You can, but at the end, who are you serving? Right? It's Amazon or Noon, because your product is ranking under Amazon. And I know you need to pay them to get more visibility.
there are websites, there are quite many websites where you can separate the URLs to search engine. Are those real or fake?
No, no. Yeah, that used to work before. A complete waste of your time and money. The directories, the submissions, it's not fake. They used to work. They're completely spam now, useless. Yeah, so you need proper link building. There are a few directories that are fine, like yellowpages.ae, that's okay, but that's where you just register your home page. You don't register a sub-page within Amazon or etc., right? Yeah, but that's a whole different conversation. You can set up blog posts and guest blog posts and then talk about that product and link it to that specific product, etc. But your objective is to rank the guest post, not the Amazon page. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a whole set under SEO called affiliate marketing, because you make money by sending people to Amazon and you get a commission on the sales. But yeah, that's very different and beyond, only beyond what we're talking here. From?
From commodity market, those guys who are selling, working on word commodity from here to cross the globe and within UAE.
Okay.
These are completely non-Indian products, gold and other.
Yeah, but the fulfillment happens where?
Yeah,
Right?
trading the websites, but at the same time, some of them are selling the agri products or food products. They are selling on Amazon and Google.
Yes, but Amazon owns the process, right? It's the one ranking, it's the fulfillment center, it collects the money, you get a percentage of sales, versus you ranking and owning the whole process. So yeah, they're just very different, their approaches.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's SEO related, but so let's say I have a .com website
Mhm.
and I'm selling in multiple countries.
Mhm.
Is it advisable to actually have a different domain as like on a different country?
Yeah. Yes, good question. E-commerce? Yes.
Yeah.
So there's, here, let me show you.
So let's say I can have it as UK so that people in the UK have access.
There's multiple considerations here. Yeah. So one solution is you buy the .ae, .uk, .us, whatever. .com is US, but for that, for every instance of your site, you need a hosting plan, right? You're paying for the domain name, domain name, domain name. Hosting, hosting, hosting. Installation, installation, installation. So your cost of development and management becomes very high. Right? Because if you do an update here, you have to update this, update this, update this. Your inventory here, inventory here, Some bigger companies would choose that because they have independent operations in all places. That's an option. Another option, small to medium size, is something like this, where you have one site. Look, so these are one of our clients. They operate in the region across 8 countries. So for each country, I don't know if you can see here. So this is English AE. So ENAE, because they have an Arabic version. So they have different URLs. I'll just paste them here as well. Right, and then this is right. So yes, there's a whole English UAE section for the site. There's an English Saudi section for the site. There's an Arabic UAE section. There's an Arabic Saudi. So for each country, they have 2 versions, and they have 8 countries. So there's 16 multiples of the site running. So something like this, because you have one server, one installation, one system. It's much easier to manage up to a medium size than having multiple ones. Yeah, so one fulfillment, one payment gateway, one inventory, one, etc. So yeah, in such a scenario, it's easier for you to do something like this, right? There are many more complex considerations from a development perspective and from an SEO perspective, but that's the path.
And let's say it can be each and every single option can have different currency based on the country.
Yes.
They're shopping.
Yeah, so this will charge in UAE, this will charge in Rial, dollar, whatever. Yes, yes. So yeah, this is a little bit more advanced, but yes. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Also, so you need the generic domain, right? If you have something .ae, that's usually restricted to the UAE. So again, if you're taking this path, just think of a generic one, .com, or there are new ones out there, like there's .fashion, whatever. So that would work, but not country specific.
So which person should I contact to do that? Like a website developer, they should know
For this?
these things? Yeah.
For this?
Yeah. Who is the best person to do the job?
If a developer has worked on a multinational site, they will have a good idea. Also, a very important question is, what system are you going to use, right? Are you doing WordPress, WooCommerce? I want to say somebody like us, but yeah, you need somebody who worked in this path to give you direction. So one important question for a developer is if they implemented multi-regional, multilingual websites. Yeah? If they haven't, and they start development, and you're way advanced in your development, you'll hit the point where you realize, uh-oh, we need to go back and redo. So it's a loss of time and money. But yeah, you, either development or multi-regional, multilingual, right? So it's, yeah, it's a whole subset of types of presentations and implementations. Yep. Other questions? Comments or concerns?
What is the optimal length of the meta text of the page?
What do you mean by meta text? So the title, the meta description, the...
Yeah, the SEO text which
There's no such thing called SEO text. So there's a title, which is the thing sitting up here. There's the meta description, which is a field that shows up on the search result page. And then there's the body text.
there are times if you use WordPress, there are SEO tags which you can.
Yeah, so it's the title. The title is up to 60 characters.
Next should be 60.
Up to. Because beyond that, you can fill it. It just won't be seen. Right? So meta description, 155 characters. The body of the page, that depends on the type of page. So a blog post can be 600, 800, 1,200. It depends on the topic. Again, my best advice for you here is write what's enough for your client. As long as you satisfy, give them a good answer, that's good enough. Yeah, don't go and read those people that say your page has to have 2,000 words, etc. That's, for a very small number of cases, that's true, but for vast majority, that's not. Any other questions, guys? Okay. Cool. All right, so if you're interested to know more, I'm happy to send you some resources. We can also send you this, yeah, I can send you this presentation as well. Yeah, I'll just write my email.
You have everyone's emails. Everyone who registered, your emails are with us, so we will be forwarding it to that.
So what exactly is your company doing? What purpose?
We just do SEO.
SEO for like the setup or monthly?
Everything, yeah. So we only do SEO.
You do it mainly for companies within the UAE or this region, or?
We have clients, so we work with clients, the majority are region-based, but we worked with clients in Europe, South Korea, US, Norway, Lithuania, UK. So yeah, we worked with sort of Norway, with Norwegian. It depends what we need to do, but mainly English, Arabic campaigns. The other languages, we worked on the consulting side because there were issues to implement. Like the language or the content side, we need a translator. Obviously, I don't speak Korean or Norwegian. What's the typical response to that? It depends, right? We're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive. I think we're somewhere in the middle. Yeah, and it really comes down to the size of campaign. Like we have clients on 2,500, 3,000 dirham retainers, and we have 20 plus. So it depends on what we're doing and how big the site is.
How many dirhams, how much dollars would you suggest to invest in keywords if you start to advertise? Let's say just.
You mean AdWords?
Yeah, just for the UAE or just for
It depends on the sector. Some sectors are much more expensive than others, right? So,
active website.
active.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see, right? So, fragrances is not cheap.
Not cheap.
See, so this is another type of ads, right? So these are Google Merchant Store ads. These are not expensive, but you see, don't have. Yeah, ads are not popping beyond this. But you can see on the Google Planner how much the estimated cost per click is, and that would help you budget as well. Again, if you're starting off, I'd say you need to do the research and look at the little bit long tail, not like just active or Dubai. So long tail volumes are lower, but they're usually less competitive, so your cost per click is a little bit lower. Yeah. Other questions? Cool. All right. I think that was good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a round of applause for our
I'll put my email back up here if you want to reach out.
Yeah.
You can also.
Also, thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on the weekend. We do this every week, and the next time, so next week we're actually not having a workshop, but we're having one on October 8th, and it's going to be, I'm just trying to get the topic out for you. 1 second. Oh, okay. So the next workshop is going to be October 8th, and it's audio content and podcasting for your brand. So if you guys have signed up, we will be sending you guys the invite on your email, but also it's going to be posted on Meetup. So if you guys have your Meetup account, we always update it, so you guys know what workshops are happening. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.